Okay, yo guys, so I just wanted to hop on and go through how I refine my POIs a bit, right? Because I've been getting quite a lot of questions about it and it's probably just easiest to do a video about it, to be honest. I'm going to show you a few examples and yeah, hopefully it's not really that difficult a process, right? It doesn't happen all the time, it doesn't hit it all the time, etc, etc, etc. But for me, it's quite reliable if I'm looking to take seconds entries or something like that, right? So let's go and look at some examples, right? So here's a great example, right? Okay, so my process is, right, I want a buy before a sell on any time frame, a buy before a sell that gets engulfed, or a sell before a buy that gets engulfed, right? That's it, nothing else, right? So cool. Let's go and find our buy to sell, which is this candle here, right? Buy to sell gets engulfed, right? So we now know, right, that our range will be formed in the time that this candle is formed, right? So this candle is from 1:45 to 1 o'clock, right? Let's just cut this candle here, right? So we know that when we go down onto a lower time frame, say the 1M for instance, right, we can take the time that this candle was formed, so it starts here, right, and it ends here, right? So we want to take anything, or we want to have a look at anything within the low of this range, which is here, right, to essentially the high of this range. It might come a little bit higher, I'm not sure. Yeah, it comes a little bit higher, and that would actually be the 1 o'clock candle, so that would be fine, right? So we want to take a look at anything within the high and the low of this, right? So then what we want to do is basically find the last engulfed candle that breaks structure, right? So let's go and see what happens. Right, cool, so we've broken out of the range now, right? So what have we got? Well, the only real thing that's engulfed and breaks structure is this doji, right? But we've also got this wick. I can't see anything that's conclusively buying price action. Well, I can see buying price action, but I can't see a buy to sell that gets engulfed, so I'm going to go down a time frame, right? Cool, what do I have now? Well, here I have a buy to sell that gets engulfed, right? Cool, so that is my very specific POI that I will be very, very, very aggressive when we come into that POI, right? So now let's see what happens, right? Price messes around, goes down, and I think it comes up over in Asia or something. There you go, right? Look at that. Like, look how specific that mitigation is, right? It does not break the high. It literally, like, look at how precise it is. It just trades into it perfectly, right? So this is where you'll probably find me doing something weird, like just fucking hitting sell like here or something like that, right? Because I've seen it react to that and I've seen it move away with aggression, right? So I'm more than happy to take that, right? So now let's go and look at a few more examples that I know work, because as I said, it's not always a thing, right? Cool, does this candle? I think, pretty sure this candle does it too. So this is the 8:30 candle, right? So again, what we want to do is we want to go and find 8:30, right, to 8:45, right? So where are we? 8:30 is here, right? To 8:45 is here, right? So again, what we want to do is we want to take the low of that range, which would be here, right? That's the lowest point within that time window, right? That's the highest point, right? So let's see what happens. Okay, do we have an engulfed candle here? No. So we can go up or down time frames as well, right? If we go up a time frame here, we have this 2M candle, right? Notice it does get mitigated a little bit, so let's keep an eye on that. And let's just let's refine down this candle and see what we can see on the lower time frames. Well, on the lower time frames, last thing, ideally you want it to be within the higher time frame. So this break structure here, this would make sense. This would make more sense to me, because this is where essentially where this range fails from, because that's the low that's propping it up, right? So let's go and see if it hits either of these. I'm not sure about this one, but let's go and see. There you go. See, it hits that 2M candle. Actually, do you know what that does hit? That hits the very low of the candle, or the wick of the candle that mitigates the range. But it hits the 2M engulf candle again, right? You see? Perfectly. Like, doesn't disrespect it, doesn't do anything, it hits it perfectly, right? And again, I can't see that on one end. There's nothing engulfed there for me, right? Like nothing's been engulfed, right? So cool. Let's go and look at some more examples, right? So cool, let's see what happens here. Okay, well now we have, like, we've got a little low broken here, right? So now we have another supply candle, right? This candle forms at 10:30, so we have 10:35, 10:30 to 10:45, right? So we go, get our little thing out again, let's find it, right? 10:30, so that's here, right? 10:45 is here, right? So our range is the high and the low of that time window, right? So we have, where's the lowest point? Well, the lowest point is this, right? The highest point is this, right? So again, anything here, this gets mitigated a little bit. We could look at that potentially, but it does get tapped a little bit. I suppose maybe you want some sort of imbalance after it. I've not really looked, to be honest. But yeah, let's just keep going. Okay, do we get an engulf candle here? No. Do we have an engulf candle here? Well, we have this now, but this range has sort of been tapped into. But really, this low again is propping the range up, so we have this, right? Let's see how accurate we can be, whether it comes to this or not. And this is what I mean, it's not an exact science, right? It's just, this is a very specific level that if I see that get hit, I'm more than happy to take it. And this makes sense on 2M as well, right? Because 2M we have this. Alright, so let's stick a limit on that. Fuck it, why not? Let's see what happens, right? 0.2 pips, let's see if we get stopped out or not. Price accumulator. Oh, you just get stopped out there. This is why you don't put limits on them, right? And normally why you, let's go and see what it hit, because this is how I discover stuff, right? I'll be like, right, what did that hit? Okay, that comes to this. Look, still an engulf candle, right? So this would be potentially another one you can mark out, and that's really the extreme as well, right? That's the highest engulf candle we have there, right? So yeah, you have that, and you don't have to go down onto the seconds, right? You can just look at 2M and say, I've got an engulf candle there. Same with this one. Right, I have an engulf candle, right? Because the seconds, doing this shit on the seconds does get weird sometimes, right? So cool, let's just keep playing it forward, see how many times we can get this right, you know? Or there was a great example today, but yeah. So okay, let's look at this one, let's see. So we have, again, I don't know whether this one works or not. It doesn't work every time at all, right? But we have this candle here, right, which is 13:30. So 13:30 to 13:45. Right, so we have 13:30 here, right, 13:45 here. So that's our range, high and low of that range again, right, and that gives us our candle. This is the low, this is the high, right? Here we go, we have this, right? There's our 1M candle. Let's see if it hits it. Right? No idea whether it does or not. It doesn't look like it does. Maybe it hits something a little bit lower here. Let's have a little bit, look a little bit lower. See if we can see everything. See, we've got this candle here, so this is good to be aware of as well. You know, like should hit one or the other. If it hits one or the other, then I'm happy to take a lower time frame entry on it, like a second entry, right? Let's see what happens. There you go. Look. Bosh, bye. Right? Like, and that's still, if we go and look at that candle, right? That engulfed candle is still within the time window, right? The range hasn't broken until here, right? This breaks it. So essentially this is the candle that breaks the range. But if it hits that, I'm more than happy to take very low time frame entries, you know, something like, I would see, what would I see here? I would see this, reject this come down, respect the level of demand, gives us a V-shaped recovery here. So I'd either be looking for a retest of this, or I'd already be in, like, just off the V-shaped recovery, because it's given me, like, it shouldn't come above this level, right? Cool, let's see what happens next time. And you see how often this is, right? Like, it's all the time. Well, it's not every time, but it's an awful lot of the time. Right, cool. Now we've got this candle here, right? This is the 245 candle, right? So 245 to 3 o'clock. Right, so where are we? 245 is here, 3 o'clock is here. So again, high and low of this, which is, low is here, high is here. So last engulfed candle is this, isn't it? Like, nothing else is. That's the last engulfed candle that breaks the range. Right. Again, don't know whether it will work or not, and this is like, it's just, if it gives me a reaction from that level, then I'm happy. Right, let's see. And again, it's not always going to work if it does give you a reaction to that level, you know, who knows. Yeah, it gives us a reaction, gives us another reaction. Does it continue on lower? Yeah, it does. There you go. Right. See? So, yeah, I mean, out of what? I haven't even, like, this video was all ad hoc as well. I didn't plan any of these POIs. That's just how I look at the market, right? Yeah, like, honestly, it's not that difficult a concept. There are refinements to it, like with everything, but yeah, I hope that helps, guys.